Some call me the Oracle, some call me Whitestar, Aquasol, Salal to Spokes, tactically Whitestar Eagle Visions. I earn these names traditionally. I'm a pipe carrier, a lodge keeper, I'm a prophecy teacher. Right now, as a species, we are going through this amazing revolution. And you're a part of it. You know, way back in 2012 when nothing happened, so much happened. But they forgot to tell you. They forgot to show you. I'm sure you recognize the whole world is in a real interesting place right now. And the prophecies are clear that the past is coming to an end, is being dismantled as gently as possible, but definitively being dismantled. And you, as a human, are becoming so much more than you used to be. New chakras, frequencies, new energies, new awareness, new science. You want to keep up? Come hang out with me once a week. We're going to talk about some really interesting stuff. Weird is the new sexy, they tell me. So come on, let's get weird together. Attack Ice. See you soon. Hey, how you doing? Busy smudging my coffee cup. Actually, it's not coffee anymore. Somebody, not gonna mention any names, Ariel Egan, introduced me or reintroduced me to cacao. Oh, she hooked me up to her machine. You know, it read me and, you know, got all this biofeedback information. And it came back that, of course, you know, I was drinking too much coffee in a day. And I knew that. I was self-admitted addict, absolutely. And I knew that in some cases, well, I was I was arm wrestling with myself and validating it because I'd done my research. And I'd done my research that suggested 2 cups a day was actually not so bad when it comes to coffee, but, you know, 4 cups and more could be actually quite dangerous and, you know, certainly not helpful when it comes to wellness. And so Ariel the other day, she's doing this on me and she reminds me that this is not what they consider a cup, David. This is a mug. It's numerous cups. And to have numerous of them in a day, you're having a multitude of. And so it's interesting. It quickly brought me, like, as you guys know, I'm about teaching not just nutrition, but, you know, the fasting protocols and doing it appropriately. And, you know, and walking, you know, that physical person, you know, equally as much as the weird and wonderful woo-woo metaphysical person, right? You know, so it's important to check in. And, you know, certainly I'm still learning a few new tricks and being reminded of, you know, that was such a common sense no-brainer for me that, yeah, you know, but I swear to goodness, now that I have replaced half my coffee with cacao, what a difference it's made for me in this world. It's an actual medicine. It just is. And don't get confused. Previous, I got it mixed up with cocoa, you know, the highly sugarnated and, you know, chocolate-nated and, you know, and all that, you know, I'm saying that sweet drink, which is different then. And to be honest, coffee for me was a sacred moment. You know, something I picked up from my dad. You know, I know how precious and important his first morning coffee was to him, you know, the quiets and listening to the day wake up and, you know, kind of feeling the presence of life show up and all that. So now keep in mind, Dad's early morning coffee was sometimes, like, more often like 4 or 5 in the morning, you know, whereas my first morning coffee wasn't until about, you know, probably 7. You know, this is equally and in equal measure a product, a substance. It's still a hot beverage. It's still yummy like crazy, like coffee is, you know, to me anyway. But it does offer a little bit of something to the Zen. It offers a little bit of something to the metaphysical and to the nervous system and to the, you know, there's a whole lot going on there that, I mean, and this isn't, you know, my monologue, you know, isn't and shouldn't be just about, you know, selling a product because I don't sell cacao. But just to let you know that, you know what, there can still be a few surprises out there. Just when you think you kind of got it all worked out, there can still be, and I'm excited about this, there can still be that next level. There can still be that. And, you know, we don't necessarily want to leave, you know, the past behind us. You know, it's interesting. I was just having this conversation with one of our producers here today, actually, about surprises and about how, you know, as a kid, I think I was probably about 8 years old. Yeah, probably about 8 years old when I, exploring with my metaphysical gifts, you know, I decided I would psychically vibe out all my Christmas gifts. And I received clarity on every single one of them, including, I remember my sister had gifted me this one chipmunk holding a football on a piece of velvet that had been painted on, and it was cute as F, honest to goodness. But I even vibed that out. And that might seem like a kind of a neat trick, but there I was Christmas morning and there were no surprises, right? I mean, I'd already figured out there weren't no Santa a couple years previous to that. But in this situation, it took away something that, to be honest, was one of the biggest part of, and it wasn't even about receiving the gift. It was about the surprise of it. It was about there was a part of me that received a bit of a pheromone, and that probably does receive a bit of a pheromone hit and an excitement from not knowing. So I decided, even as a little boy, I don't know if you call it trauma or just wisdom I learned through the process, but I decided as a little boy, I wasn't going to predict my own future anymore. Now, that doesn't stop the future from leeching back at me. I get ripples and I get information and I get waves. I really do feel my way through life. And I'm following the energy, I'm following the chi, I'm following spirit, I'm following God, whatever label or word you want to put on this, where there's life that shows up, that's where you'll find me. Where there's no energy or dead energy or toxicity, or you probably won't find me there for long, or it's not like that for long because I brought some light and kicked some ass, for sure. But at the end of the day, I promise I still like my surprises. Deja vus are so commonplace in my world and such. I'm not refusing precognitive, ability. I'm not refusing, being able to see around corners, but I'm letting it rather than making it and forcing it, for sure. And so just sharing, maybe that's a trick that maybe you yourself, your viewer at home can work on next. It's just that so interesting. So many of my students are coming to me because they want to see around corners. They want to develop that. And it's funny because we just started a brand new boot camp here yesterday, actually, online boot camp. And I asked this question at the beginning of every boot camp: do you really want to know? Do you really want to be able to see auras? Do you really want to know? Do you really want to be in the position of not being able to not know anymore? And it's interesting because there's actually a psychological arm wrestle that should go on with that question. It shouldn't be as simple to anybody as, yeah, definitively yes. Because from a firsthand experience, the answer might not always be yes. You might not always want to know in advance, because knowing doesn't mean you can affect change. Knowing doesn't mean you can, have any impact even. Knowing might mean that you're going to suffer watching it longer than most other folks, But as we learn and grow, there's always new things to chew on, new things to embrace. And with that in mind, I really, really want to introduce Ariel. Ariel, I know she's backstage if you want to come on out and, join us for this conversation. Oh, now I met this lady only just recently, although it seems we've been walking similar circles, healing the planet in our own, ways, for quite some time. She's invited me, great, with pure grace, to come and join me at this clinic that she's got going, and I'm going to let her talk like crazy all about it, because I couldn't rave enough about what I'm seeing going on there. She's got this amazing space. It's like a temple almost, right? And she's in, as far as I can tell, she has amalgamated and collaborated these ancient techniques and know-how, and like she's got these reflexologists and massage therapists, and she's really bringing in a big way that as a naturopath. She can look kind of right at you and figure out which greens you're missing and all that. But there's also, and I'm really excited about this technology that's also showing up. Some of you may or may not have heard of Kangen, which, I don't know if she's even allowed to talk about it a little bit, but if those of you have heard me talk about it, a Kangen machine is as close to making Ormus at home as I can possibly send in your way without actually being Ormus. But I got to tell you, this lady is bridging. We talk about the med beds of the future. We talk about, and it's interesting because of all the people that I've seen. I don't want to use the word play, but I've been around the block. I've played with eggs in the past, and I played with some of this new tech. But there's the way that this lady here, and here you are, I'm talking like you're not in the room, but this lady here flexes in a way I've never seen done before. There's a grace that's here. There's again, I don't even You know what, Ariel, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. And I'm going to pass the feather to you. And I want you, I know you're humble and full of grace, but I want you to brag now, okay? I want you to talk about the really cool stuff you got going on, okay? Everybody, this is Ariel.
Hi, everybody. Oh, what an introduction. I am so honored to be here. David, I remember when Lynn connected us, and I just, with your energy, I didn't know you enough, but I was like, I like this guy. I trust this guy. I wanted to learn more about what you do. And the fact that you're also a male practitioner, I was like, this is amazing because we need more male healers. You that haven't met me, I am Ariel. I'm a natural health practitioner, herbalist, nutritionist, quantum healer, also an iridologist. I do blood analysis, and I help people get their body back on track by treating the root cause, but on a cellular level with education. I take the time, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, we don't leave the room until you know exactly what the root cause of your situation, your illness, your disease, your cancer, whether that's physical, emotional, whether it's nutritional, whether it's an infection, whatever it is. I want to make sure that you feel so independent with your health that you feel like you understand the logical reason as to why we have a customized protocol. And then when your health is back on track, now you have the education and the tools. You don't need me anymore. You're independent. You can go live your life. That's the whole point. I don't want a codependent relationship where I only tell you a little bit at a time.
Now, isn't that a little bit ass backwards from what we've been experiencing in the health industry? Like, isn't that kind of ass backwards,
Because it's about true health care, not sick care. You're not sick. You're uneducated. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So for me, there's so much more than data collection and creating customized protocols. There's a mentorship that happens with your health. So a little bit about my background. I was homeschooled from kindergarten to grade 12 from my lovely mother. And she instilled some really good characteristics about me. And I also happen to be fluent in sign language because I have a deaf sister who I love very much. I have a big family, lots of siblings, and we all had our own gifts. And we all supported each other in those gifts. And we had so much support from our parents. My mom had a clinic in the house. She had a gut clinic. And people would fly in to see her. And I was super young and I was around this environment at such a young age. I picked up on a lot of language, right? And she was also a natural health practitioner. And now she works in the clinic with me. So it's really cool. So I started university and I actually didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to help people heal. And then I dove into medicine. I did my pre-med, got into med school, realized that was not for me. So then I transitioned into functional medicine and then transitioned into all the Eastern medicines, the traditional Chinese medicine, the Ayurvedic medicine. I became a nutritionist. I became a herbalist. I started understanding about how trauma and unsuppressed and suppressed emotion in the somatic system can create illness and disease. So then I started learning about all of that, right? Boundaries. I started learning about the human psychology and how it's linked to human pathology, which is disease and cancer. And then I started bringing in, nutrition as food, as medicine. And Chinese herbs. I work with over 400 Chinese herbs, and tinctures and mushrooms and all these different beautiful things that are being used appropriately to help the individual heal. It helps facilitate the process, right? So everything is customized and everything is identified to be the best for that person. Because you may have two different people with the same scenario, but a different protocol.
Totally.
Right? So it really depends. It's not a one size fits all. And that's why I have such a hard time with the internet, because if you go on the internet and you try to self-diagnose and then give yourself your own protocol without an expert, you could hurt yourself. And you can give the holistic world a bad rep.
Totally. Well, even just I have a headache you know, how many times can I have a headache can be interpreted as a symptom for a gazillion things, right? From you have a bit of stress in your life to maybe you got a tumor, right? To, you know, and so I hear you. The Google doctoring, you know, on one hand, educate, 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 but on the other hand, find your way to somebody who kind of knows how to look through you, how to see into you, how to connect. And you know, this is where again I can appreciate some of your protocols are showing up. I mean, it was funny. First day I was there at the clinic, I looked at the wall of these supplements that she's selling, and it looks like my medicine kit at home. I got a little bit of mullein over here, and I got a little bit of mushroom over here, and I got a little bit of, and I'm like, oh my God, this is my home medicine kit, right? You know, and yeah, so I knew right away I was at home, you know, for sure. And so I, I want you to talk a little bit about and you know what? Yes, you got your intuition, and you know, I'm you know, working with people like myself who work with you know, that intuition also. But you know, I am fascinated by some of the doodads, right? You know, I mean, talk about some of this stuff. It's crazy what's going on in an exciting way. You know, totally crazy. You know?
Yeah, so it's super cool. So basically, fast forward, I've been in school now, graduated after 9 years of university, but it's not about book smart. It's also about just hands-on, seeing the patterns in people, right? Because then you have people that don't just have one illness, they have multiple, and then you throw medication in there, you throw surgeries in there. Now you got organs that are not even present, no gallbladder, you know, all this kind of stuff. So it really keeps it interesting. So what we do to customize things is we actually have bioresonance, bioenergetic Rife machines that we will run our own data collection. We do a body scan. We analyze any variable, creating inflammation, imbalance, infection, deficiency within that body system, but on a cellular level. You have 11 body systems. We need to make sure that all 11 body systems are not functioning properly, but they're optimizing. I don't want you thriving. I want you optimizing. My is to get you thriving and optimizing to 100, and you can do it. But we need to be able to fine tune the kinks along the way, right? You got to check the engine light once in a while. Okay?
Totally.
Cells turn over every 25 days, making a whole new generation of cells based on what you eat, drink, and vaccinate. So whatever you put in the body matters, and it will manipulate the next generation of cells and how you perform and how the mitochondria forms.
I want you, I hope to interrupt, but I want you to say that again because it was so good, right? I want you to say that again.
So for those of you that didn't hear me, every single cell in your body turns over every 25 days. There's something called cell memory, and all your illnesses and all your dysregulation is in the cell memory. It is a photocopier every 25 days. And the only thing that can manipulate it to become better or worse is what you eat, what you drink, and what you inject.
Cool.
Vaccines matter. So whatever that is, right? So that is how you manipulate the cell memory, the gene expression, how your cerns turn on or off, how your mitochondria functions. So it does matter. And so whenever I'm dealing with somebody, I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with, but I don't get them to tell me. I do my own research. So I'll hook them up to a machine. We do a body scan, which also acts as a lie detector because people lie. Or they just don't remember. We have a lot of elderly people. They don't remember what they don't remember their medication. They don't remember what they ate last week. So we'll be able to identify what is in their system, and we'll be able to actually screen to see any sort of vaccines that are in their system and see what is a correlation with any inflammation. So if you do have material that could be potentially creating harm, we're going to be able to identify if there's a correlation with your symptomology. So there we have the tools. We can figure out what's going on. And then we're not just guessing. I don't like to guess. I want to know. So they do all that. And we also have a trauma room. We have a counselor who also uses something called neurofeedback and neurooptimal therapy. It's a device that uses frequencies. We hook it up to C3, C4. It goes in the ears. So cool, because people don't want to necessarily go through counseling because they don't want to relive the trauma. So this is really cool. We sit in a chair, we hook you up to the device. You can read a book, you can work on your phone, you can work on your laptop, you can have a nap, you can color, whatever you want to do. It's good for kids, adults, or seniors. And it's like a personal trainer for your brain. Because when you have trauma, Your amygdala and hippocampus change shape.
Totally.
Surface area either swells or shrinks, and the function of that brain system takes a hit. And the only way to support it is through energetic healing called quantum healing, which is what we do. And so what's really cool is you don't have to relive the trauma. The machine does it for you. And you start to notice a huge shift after 10 sessions. We recommend 1 to 3 sessions a week. So within 1 month, you can be completely free of your anxiety, your depression. It starts with people that have schizophrenia, bipolar, insomnia, chronic migraines, issues with your hormones, burnout, adrenal fatigue, people that have ADD, ADHD, people that have autism, Down syndrome, whatever it is, wherever you are on the spectrum, it's going to help you. And it's non-linear, which means it's not forceful and it's not painful. It guides your body into healing, which is really
from what I could gather, it has to do with light and frequency and patterns and cycles, basically, right? Am I right?
Yes. And you can look up any clinic that has non-linear neural feedback, and you will see anything online with different clinics, but it has to be the non-linear, and you will see things on there that people's lives are transformed. People get their children back. Their child is calmer. They didn't need that Ritalin. They don't need those medications, right? So try the natural way first. See what happens. Give it a go. Give it a shot. So that's one of the treatments we have. We also have a rice machine. We also have bioresonance, bioenergetic testing. We have a microscope. So we do a drop of blood underneath a microscope, and we look at your blood and we compare it to medical charts. And we also areas we can.
That's amazing. Like when I did that test, that was really, I mean, it took a whole bunch of tests and narrowed it right down to boom. Right, you know, I mean, of all the stuff that you did, we did ourselves, you know, because of course I show up, I want to see how I anchor in, right, you know, for sure. And I got to tell you, I'm a little bit squeamish about blood, you know, myself, but this one was so effective, so precise. Literally, they, you know, she showed me a picture of what my blood was doing, and then showed me a whole bunch of other pictures of this is what your blood could be doing, which one looks like yours. And it was obvious to me, you know, my blood was stacking, was the term that I was given. And of course, since then I've done some Google researching, and I now know what stacking means. And so again, the dynamics of being able to get in touch with somebody who kind of knows what they're up to. Like, you know, you've heard me on the show lots of times dance between the Eastern and the Western philosophies towards medicine, right? You know, and, you know, there's pros and cons to both. You know, if you have a brain tumor and you need, you know, surgery, give me the guy with the piece of paper and the sharp pointy knife, right? You know, but you may not need that brain surgery if I spend a bit more time in the witchcraft or the medicine woman's hut, right? You know, kind of idea, right? You know, because then you're being much more proactive towards things in your world. So yeah, so it's about balancing, and like I said, even as a shaman, you know, showing up in the clinic here, I'm intrigued by the machines. And it's interesting because you wouldn't normally hear that from a shaman's perspective, right? You know, lots of times, and to be honest, I was involved with one of those previous beds that you plugged into the wall. You know, it actually went through the phone line for specific. I mean, it was just kind of, you know, way back when they have these cloth, you know, and I know you've got a way more advanced model these days. But to be honest, just like when those first phones came out, you know, the ones that were stood about this tall and you had to hold them with both hands, you know, they were dangerous. And so too were those pads. And I could tell with my metaphysical awareness that I didn't want anything to do with that. But yet there hasn't been anything that you've shown me around the clinic there that has triggered my spidey sense in a negative way. And so that's interesting because somebody's paying attention to that also. Right? You know, just fascinating to me, really.
Oh, thank you. What an honor. Well, I love what you just said, you know, and that's what we're all about here is bridging the gap between Western and Eastern medicine, taking the best of both worlds and pushing them together and identifying what is the best for the client. Not what's the best for me, not what's best for other practitioners, what is best for the client. And getting our ego out the door, you know, it's super important. When it comes to the bed you're talking about, it's called pulse electromagnetic field. These are PEMF mats. We love them. We use the Swiss Bionic, which is the most powerful one on the market. I have never found one that is better. I've done my research. I've actually tested other beds with my clients. I did their blood before and after, and I was very dissatisfied. But when we brought the Swiss Bionic one from Switzerland, I couldn't believe it. I was jumping for. We ran so far now, we've had over 200 people go through the beds, and we did their blood before and after, and every single person saw benefit within one treatment.
Wow.
So that's amazing. We now have 4 beds here at the clinic. So the last time I saw you, we only had 1. We now have 4 running here at the clinic. We're so excited. And we have an event coming up April 20th. It's open to the public. We have 100 spots available where you can do the blood analysis for free right before, and then 30-minute PEMF treatment and the blood analysis for free right after. It's just $50 to register for the bed, but you get the blood analysis before and after. And if you want to learn, you can reach out to Vitality Wellness, reach out to reception, and they'll get you booked in. And you can have, there's 10 beds running every hour. So it's so, so cool. The last one, we do it every month and people love it. So they are definitely seeing tons of improvement, not just for overall health, but this was designed for people with terminal cancer. That is a bold statement.
It sure is.
There is. And so we are right now still in our own clinical trials in our clinic. So even though something says it works or it's being used for X, Y, and Z, doesn't matter. I want to see it with my eyes. Every single piece of equipment that I bring in, I run a minimum of 100-person study with my own clients, and I build up my own case studies. So that's just how I operate, because I don't believe in just reading it and taking people's word for it. I want to know it works because it's about my reputation and my clients. I put my clients first, and if it doesn't work, out the door. So when it comes to this one, though, it's working. It's going so well. Whether you have an injury, whether you have insomnia, anxiety, body pain, we have people with nerve pain. We have people with endometriosis, fibroids, anything to do with an organ system. We can localize the mat because there's attachments. And we've had people with all kinds of issues with their neurological, thyroid cancer, arthritis, endometriosis. We've had so many different things. The list goes on. But our focus right now is we want to start getting more cases for cancer. We want to see if all of our cancer protocols are working as effective as we think they are. So we're still building up a larger case study for that. We have some amazing stories, but I want more. I need more stories to really build that credibility. But April 20th is our next open mat day from 10 to 6. And we do this once a month. The pulse electromagnetic field beds, what they do is they put your body into a healing zone. Your cells heal at minus 50 millivoltage. And it's really hard to get your cells to that because people's diets and environments are so acidic and so toxic. And there's a lot going on. So the mat gets you into that state, gets you into the parasympathetic state, calms your central nervous system, detoxifies your cells, opens up all your channels. So we don't detox someone too quickly because they can go through a healing crisis. We go slow. So there is an intake form. We have to identify what's going on. And it's amazing. I do the treatment every day before I start my shift, or if I had a long day, I'll do it at the end of my shift, and I'll change the settings. The reason why this PEMF is better than other beds is because the other beds, A, it's not powerful enough. B, there isn't multiple settings or attachments. And C, your body adapts to the rhythm. Whereas this one, each section is individual and it's all separate in the bed. So it's not one circular motion that your body can adapt to over like 2-3 weeks. It's multiple individual stimulations, and they change direction, so they trick your body.
Now, a gazillion years ago, there was a book out called Cure for All Cancers, and it had within it this electrical. Is this an advanced form of that? Is that what's going on? Okay, cool. Now I'm catching up.
So there's actually a book that was written by the doctors in Switzerland who were using these beds that we have for patients that were terminal. And they wrote a book on it. We have the book here. It's super cool. And they were blown away. They said, okay, well, let's try the bed on terminal patients who are going home to die. And in 3 to 10 days, they went into remission.
Boom. Yeah.
I can't argue with that. I'm like, I don't understand the science, and I'm like shocked. So we're still on building our own case studies with this. Like I said, I want to see a larger case study, but I'm very excited with the direction that things are going. And it's beautiful because it's non-invasive. You're not going to hurt somebody.
I want to take just a second here, and I want to do the commercial break for you. I want you to tell people how to reach you. I mean, we're going to make sure we have lots. Your website's going to be everywhere and all that stuff around this, podcast and the archives. But how do we reach you? Which is there a phone number, a website?
So you can reach us, text or call 604-217-2588. We're located in Langley off 200 Street 96. And our clinic is Vitality Wellness World. We're on Google, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. If you want to look at our Instagram, it's vitality_wellness_. And reach out to us. One of our staff members will get back to you. And my name is Ariel.
Totally. And repeat the phone number one more time.
604-217-2588. Text or call.
Awesome. Yeah, and you'll talk to Ariel or Julia, it's just, and beyond yourself, you've managed to attract this really interesting team of leaders as well into your world, right? If we judge ourselves by the company we keep, I really do see excellence in your world around you also, right? In a good way. And part of that is, and I'm sure the audience has already figured that out, you're kind of no nonsense. You're just boom. We got some healing going on. I couldn't believe it that here you are talking about we're looking for cancer people because we want to heal them. Like, that's so backwards to, again, what Western medicine cures, right? Yeah, for sure. And this is it. This is the paradigm. This is that new world that we're hoping to create. This is medicine. This is medicine. It's not business. And yeah, let's make $1 billion. Honest to goodness, these machines aren't free, right? But at the same time, that's not the priority, right? It's always just about you pour in and you share and you give. And I mean, like yourself, Ariel, I'm excited about medicine. I'm excited about the potentials. And like yourself, I've been disappointed so many times too, right? That there's a lot of snake oils out there, right? For sure. And I can appreciate that. Yeah, for sure. Now, another thing, again, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was the Kangen, okay? Now, those of you who know that I play with Ormus all the time, one of the values of Ormus specifically is the pH factor and how it plays a significant role in the body. I am convinced that, and not just through my research reading intellectually, but also through personal experience with clients and such, that you start changing that pH, you get it as close as you can to that 7.3 marker, and cancer just buggers off. It doesn't even have a place to land and play anymore, and it just leaves. And so tell me a little bit about this machine. And it's interesting because here we are talking about all these machines that go do these amazing things, but I still swear to God that it's in your hands that makes the difference, right? You can get someone who doesn't know how to drive in a race car who's still an idiot on the road, right? And so I don't want to make this whole show about the machines, but you've surrounded yourself with these tools that are remarkable, simple as that. And so if you don't mind talking about the Kangen just a little bit,
Well, like you said, they're tools, right? And like an electrician needs a tool, or a mechanic, I need tools to get you the job done a little quicker, right? And so our body is 75% water from the neck down, 85% water from the neck up. In 2003, Peter Agree got a Nobel Prize for the discovery of aquaporins, which means out of 75 trillion cells in your body, there's one opening that is positive charge sensitive. He proved that you can only absorb negative charged water. If you are positive charged water, which you can buy an ORP, you can test your pH and your ORP, which is two characteristics for the water. You can test that. And if there is a positive ORP, you do not absorb, which means all your supplements, you're not absorbing. And if you drink negative ORP water with your supplements, you absorb 99% absorption. We don't say 100 in science. That's just not what we do.
Yeah.
Cool. So here at the clinic, we give out the water for free. We educate you. and you just got to come pick it up. It's free. You just got to drink it and you can see what happens. And we use it with all of our patients, and it's amazing because your body goes through a mitochondrial reset, which is the root of every disease. And what happens is now you're absorbing, so now you can heal. We're giving your body the tools it needs to heal. If someone is drinking positive charged water, inflammation goes up because it's creating more free radicals and more oxidative stress and stealing your minerals. And as soon as you drink negative charged water, inflammation goes down because it's donating antioxidants. It's helping with your minerals. It's helping detoxify your cells way better than any antioxidant on the periodic table, because when it comes to the water has the smallest element on the periodic table, which means it can pass through the blood-brain barrier. It can pass through every single system in the body. It's not so big where it can't pass. We have some beautiful antioxidants that we love to use, but they're not useful if you don't absorb them. Certain things are useless, right? So we got to make sure you're absorbing, detoxifying, and resetting the mitochondria. And we do that with the water. The way the machine works is it's called electrolyzed reduced water. That's the medicinal term. Look it up on pubmed.gov. Again, pubmed.gov. That is where you go get all of your medical information. Now, you can look this up and do your own research. Just don't go on Google and Wikipedia, because you won't find anything good, because companies are paid to say bad things about this company, because you don't need your medications after a while if you're properly balanced and hydrated. So what we do is get people to do their research properly, try the water, go through the detox, go through the reset, and then you feel amazing. You go through a Herxheimer reaction, which is a full body detox. You will remove all the pathogens, viruses, fungus, mold, candida from the entire body. It's amazing, but you get a headache for about a day. Nothing I can do, you detox. We're open to that. The way the system works is it mimics blue zones. There are no more blue zones left in Canada or in the US. A blue zone, people live to be over 100 and they're thriving. That's our philosophy naturally. So what we're doing is we're giving your body the tools. The machine goes through, your system is attached to your sink. The water from your sink goes through the machine, goes through a filtration system, through an ionizer, passes through 8 titanium plates, gets zapped with 230 watts of energy, comes out of 2 hoses. Top hose, you drink it, is highly negative charge, has a negative ORP, smallest elements on the periodic table, absorbs right into the cells. The bottom hose is garbage. Don't drink that. That's all the nasty stuff. It restructures the water. It does not add any minerals to the water because it's not stealing minerals. When you drink water that has been remineralized, you're just asking for kidney stones and calcification. Do not mineralize.
People don't know this, but for example, Dasani water is, when they made Coca-Cola, they had all of this wastewater that they just couldn't get rid of because none of the experts would let them get away with it. Like like, no, you can't do that there. No, you can't do that. And so like, well, what are we going to do with this water? And so what they did was they actually turned this liquid into this inert. It's a nothing. It's like a blob thingamajigger. It's got substance, but it's actually nothing. And so then they remineralize it and put it in a plastic bottle, and now they're shipping it around the world and we're buying it, right? And so it boggles me, and again, without even getting into conspiracy theories, it boggles me that we're in so many cases in a system that seems to be working against us. It seems to be literally, it's almost like this backwards world where everything that they tell us is kind of supposed to be good for us, it actually isn't, and vice versa almost. And it's not only confusing, it gets a person to be paranoid even a little bit, right?
Yes, and the last thing I'll mention about the water is that you can do your own research. You can get an ORP meter, make sure it's calibrated properly. You can get one on Amazon. Test the water. A good one is around $100. Test your water. Your water is positive charge. Test our water. Our water is negative charge. You only absorb negative charge. It's a no-brainer. But there are other companies out there that are trying to copy. Very dangerous. Be very careful. There are copycats, but they don't have the patent technology, which is the 230 watts of energy. They don't produce the hydrogen the same way. So you have to be very, very careful, because We've had people where they got a knockoff version, or they got the wrong because they weren't quite educated around the terminology. They got something they thought was similar, and people started having too much pressure in the capillaries. Their capillaries were rupturing and they were bleeding from their eyes. Very careful. Also, be very careful of alkaline water. That is also remineralized. Be careful of a Brita filter or reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis is what people pay for in the big jugs, and they get it delivered to their house with the Canadian Springs. That is no different than your Dasani. That is everything and remineralizing it. You're just asking for issues with your gut, bloating, your kidneys, your joints, your arthritis. Every single body system takes a hit. So when you start drinking negative charged water, the first thing you're going to notice to see if it works, because I like science, I like proof, drink a liter, drink a whole liter of our water, watch what happens. There's no sloshing in your stomach.
Yeah, that no absorption, right? Exactly. You can actually feel it. Yeah, absolutely, totally.
The cells. If you drink a liter of your water, you will be bloated and it will slosh.
Totally.
The first thing you know, because there's a caloric sphincter at the bottom of your stomach, which is charge sensitive. As soon as it recognizes negative charge fluids, it opens.
Fascinating. Now,
Yeah.
it's interesting. There's actually a teaching from way back that if you put amethyst in your drinking water, it does something very similar. It changes the molecular structuring of water itself, right? And, I swear by it. And to be honest, I was actually first initially turned on to this Kangen machine. My sister, sisters, God, what do they know, right? But my sister turned me on to this thing a gazillion years ago. Bless her, but she suffers from all sorts of health issues, Crohn's, and half her organs are missing, and all this stuff, right? And she's upright and she's stubborn as hell. She'll be on the planet for a long time. But to be honest, the only thing that helped her was having a Kangen machine in the house and on a regular basis. And it wasn't about the quick medicine and the quick pill. It was about allowing it to be a part of your lifestyle, right? Which again, ultimately is where we're anchoring in here. This is why you would offer it for free. I mean, I see people coming and filling up their jugs all the time, and it makes me happy because these are people who are hydrating. These are people who are, they're appreciating it as part of their lifestyle choices, right? For sure. And on a business level, I got a number now, and so if you want to buy one, you're gonna want to come talk to me, for sure. yeah.
Talk to me. But yes, 100%. It's 100% tax deduction. We say try it. If you can't come to the clinic because you don't live close or whatever, you can get one at home. Talk to David. He will help you out. And we will make sure you get the 100% tax deduction, and you can do a payment plan.
Totally. Now, one of the conversations I had with my sister, because of course we're getting my sister a brand new machine, right? For sure. Now, one of the things we looked at was the fact that you could buy these Kangen machines, offline, used, that kind of idea, for maybe cheaper too. But to be honest, even me and my sister, and we're cheap like crazy, but we really got to a place of there wasn't any support. It doesn't matter if you're saving money off of line to get this machine. There's no support, right? And what if you need a repair? What if all of these things? And so it just makes sense. And to be honest, this is a lifetime purchase. This is, again, once it becomes a part of your lifestyle, there's just no going back, really. Because why would you? Yeah.
Have some of the things just to think about, because I'm all about saving a buck, right? So However, once the machine is registered in your name, you can't change ownership. So if you ever had your vehicle towed, the owner has to pick it up. So if you want to take your machine in for maintenance, the owner has to pick it up. They will not give it to you. So that's really annoying if you don't know who the owner is. Your machine is, you're not.
So buyer beware, totally, right? You buy something offline, you save yourself a few $100, but then you're on your own, right?
The owner passes away or moves to Timbuktu, they won't let you pick it up. The second thing is you only get the tax deduction for the owner. If you resell it, you don't get the tax deduction. It is 100% tax deduction. The third thing is you have no support, and now you cannot make commission. The fourth thing is you cannot buy filters because the filters go underneath the owner's ID number. You can't even buy a filter. You can't take it in for maintenance. You don't get the tax deduction, and you don't know if it's been broken or dropped. So even if you
Yeah,
don't know. So there's just a lot of things of buyers beware that is worth looking into, and you have no warranty.
totally. And I'm sharing this, as a commonality, not specifically just within this machine, but kind of in anything in life, right? Sometimes saving ourselves a few bucks. And again, I'm all about that, for sure. I like a bargain, but at the end of the day, sometimes we're not saving ourselves anything. We're just actually buying someone else's junk, basically, right? And I mean, God forbid, maybe it's even stolen property, right? Etc. Yeah, all this stuff, right? And so all sorts of messes can happen.
You just don't know. Bad karma. But yeah, that's a very good point. So reach out to us. We will definitely educate you. We want to give you a free trial. We want you to try it for 30 days. See what you think. Maybe like we will send you a video with some information. You can learn about it, but you definitely won't regret it. It's pretty cool. Once you try it, you turn into a water snob.
Totally. Now I got a question. Now, I mean, we have people on the show literally all the way from Australia, for example. Can somebody connect with you and have work done online? Or is this a finger prick might not work as well, of course, over the distance, but
So I have patients all around the world. We have an intake form, and then we get you to go to your local medical doctor or naturopath where you get all of your blood work done. And if you don't know what type of blood work done that you need, the intake form will give me direction as to what body system needs support. So if it's your gut, we'll go get certain tests done. If it's your hormones, we'll get some tests done. So I'll direct you as to what to do. And so we do a free phone consult. And then from there, we start to get your body back on track with the right nutrition, the water, the herbs, the diet, the exercise, the stress management, the lifestyle changes. And then we connect you with some really good practitioners. We do sell machines for the water globally. We also sell the supplements globally. So you can get everything online, 25% off with free shipping. And if you ever get a supplement from us and it doesn't agree with you and you have already opened it, 100% 100% refundable, even if it's opened. We are not here to screw you over. We want to make sure it works. If it doesn't work, we'll refund you, no questions asked.
Totally. That's just amazing. Yeah, just amazing. Wow.
Pretty cool. We even have clients, iridologists as well, where they'll take a picture of their eyes, left eye and right eye. Left eye is everything you genetically inherited from mom, right eye is from dad. You take a picture with your cell phone because technology nowadays, you email it to us. I put together a whole protocol because it's like the reflexology of the eye. The mark, right? It tells me so much. And then I get you on a whole meal plan, grocery list, everything. We keep it so simple. And then check-ins. And you send a picture of your eye every 6 months. It's so cool.
I traveled when I did psychic fairs. I traveled for 2 years. We had an iridologist who traveled with us, who would, right there in the events, in the conferences we're holding, have these iridology, and he did a bunch of other things too, but iridology was the focus, and it was amazing, accurate. And because I was traveling with him for a couple of years, I had an opportunity to see some of these clients come back, and their testimonials were amazing. Totally. It's a blueprint for the body. It's so amazing, really,
I know I try not to study people's eyes when I'm first meeting them, but I was like, oh, what's going on? Oh, you got one kidney. Oh, you've had a miscarriage. Oh, and I just start seeing things and I'm like, this is kind of rude. I probably shouldn't do this. But
and I talked about this a little bit as well, because even as if you want to call it, we use the word psychic, right? I'm aware of so much information that people are broadcasting. Even as a trained, for example, face reader and palmist and stuff, I notice things like you just don't look at a body the same way after you've been trained in a certain way, right? Yeah, And so you're the kind of person, and I know this about you as a person, that an invasion of privacy would, in my opinion, it requires this conscious desire to want to. Does that make sense? But whereas you can't necessarily, prevent people from broadcasting, nor can you prevent them from walking up and showing you their eyes, right? Yeah, oh no, wear this blindfold. I don't want to know. Kind of right. Yeah. That's amazing. It's amazing, totally. So I also, and actually every Friday I can be found at the clinic myself, taking clients, and we've got this amazing space. I love it. I always go in early because there's one of those massage chairs that she has that I've named Raul, and Raul is so good to me. I tell you, this is one of those. And again, the lady doesn't buy junk, because I've had the junk ones where ooh, ow. This one, oh my goodness, he knows exactly how to touch me. Without getting weird about it. But
Good. It gets all the areas that most massage chairs don't. It even gets the glutes and the lower back. It's wonderful, and it really gets in there. I love it. Yeah, and it's so cool. I know you come in on Fridays, but it was so cool to see you on that Saturday, and I hope to see you during the week as well, because people want to speak to you. Whenever you're there, people want to hear from you. They want to talk to you. You have so much wisdom, and you're such a gift to us, and we're so grateful having you in the clinic. We just want to see more of you. So I'm just
well, and I appreciate that. You actually, technically, me and one of the other therapists who is a hot damn reflexologist, Janine. I've met reflexologists who are good at rubbing feet, but nothing like this lady. I swear to goodness, like she's a machine, and I love it in a good way. And so every Wednesday I've kind of snuck in to do some trades. Yeah, because I'm pretty good at what I do too. And when you find people who are top grade, like I mean no, or I'm going to try and mean no disrespect here, but I've just been through 5-6 years of dealing with ICBC massage therapists, right? And I'm trying if you're out there and you're an ICBC massage therapist, please forgive me. But it was my personal experience that most people who are working and being fed their clients through, the ICBC, meal ticket aren't that good. And so I found myself having to step outside of that circus to find practitioners that were, top notch, right? And I swear by the results, at the end of the day. And again, Ariel here has, surrounded herself. I'm assuming that, to be honest, for most of your life, as you are as a person, like you introduced me to some people where now I can get some amazing meats from as well, right? That's not coming through Safeway, that is a clean, wholesome product that, oh my goodness, and it's actually inexpensive. I'm saving a ton of money, and I'm eating way better. And because I'm an O blood type and I need my meats and stuff like that, but so it might as well be clean. I'm not a rancher growing my own food anymore. And so I'm assuming, Ariel, that in your world, this is how your life is. Now, I haven't had an opportunity to see every part of, every nuance of your space and such, but this is how it is for you, isn't it? You just kind of, it's got to be the best or get out of my way, kind of idea.
It's 100%, and I mean no disrespect, but if you're in the circle, it's because I want you there, and I love you, and I care for you, and I will protect you. And those are the people I surround myself with. I have a tribe that I know has my back. And when I walk out of a room, they say nothing but good things about me, and I say nothing but good things about them. And we all genuinely are passionate about what we do. I don't work a day in my life. I help heal people, and the people I surround myself with heal others. And we're very good at what we do, and we love what we do. We just happen to get paid for it. It's a weird system, but we have to keep the lights on, but we have some amazing practitioners. Like I said, my mom works here. She is our counselor. She's a trauma healer. She is all about the neural feedback, and she is amazing. Then we have practitioner Janine, who's the reflexologist. She has hands that are just magical. She does lymphatic drainage. She does emotional release. She literally will work from head to toe, reflexology, meridian release, all kinds of stuff. She was so good that I stole her from another clinic to work in mine. Bribed her. I was like, I don't care. Like, you need to work with me. And she's been with me ever since. And she's so loyal, and I love her so much. And then practitioner Lynn, who's our health coach. We love Lynn. And Lynn is amazing as well. She does our Ayurvedic head and arm and body massage. And she also does our health coaching, because you need to be able to bridge the gap and have someone in the middle be in intermediate. And then we have you, lovely David. You are amazing. We just adore you. And it's nice to have a male, you know, amongst all the females, because it kind of spices things up a bit, and it allows the men to feel comfortable coming in for healing as well, right? Because they don't always.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. And actually, every second Friday, after the shop is closed down, I actually run a men's group out of the clinic also, and it's an after hours thing, and it's for the guys only. Sorry, girls. It's called the Men's Den. And it's kind of a hybrid where we gather in the space there, and simultaneously we invite other men to come in through Zoom. And you know, everyone checks in and everyone participates, and you know, it's been just a short time so far, but it's been so well received. And men's work is important, you know. And I when I first showed up, that was one of the first things out of your mouth was, you know, I would love nothing better than to see more men getting involved in wellness and all of that. And I mentioned the men's group thing. She says, well, just make it happen. Just whatever you need. Absolutely. And
Oh, I love that. I would love to have more literature maybe laying around that I can just pass to clients, because I have a lot of people I want to refer to you, but sometimes we get chatting, they get out the door, I forget, and sometimes a little something would be so beneficial.
you know, isn't that interesting? You know, again, because you know we're really really good healers. You know, I'm good at marketing in my own business too. But you know, you and I get so caught up in the let's heal the world, we forget about the business, right? And I appreciate that, but at the same time, you're right. We're stubbing our toe a little bit by not actually getting out there, right? You know, enough, right? And
The men, it's so important. And then the last thing is we have a really cool lymphatic and weight loss machine from Italy, and it uses electrolipolysis, stimulation, and 3 other different really cool technologies where it actually shrinks fat cells and detoxifies them and liquidates them. So people will fast 2 hours before, no food, no water. We do the treatment, it fills up the bladder, and they pee like everything out, and there's fat in their pee. So in the bowl, it's so cool. And we've seen some amazing lives transform. We've had people that I've been working with for 4 or 5 years for weight loss, didn't see any change. We get them on the treatment protocol now. In 1 month, we're seeing a change. Their friends are telling them everything. And I'm like, because sometimes people's bodies are just stuck. And that's okay. You know, sometimes exercise and diet isn't the only thing that's going to work for them. Sometimes things need a little bit of a push, non-surgical and non-painful. And so we have a really cool treatment that is holistic and it works. So I'm very pleased with that. And it also works on tightening the skin and clearing out the lymph. So people that maybe don't need the weight loss, but they want to clear their lymph because maybe they can't sweat or exercise properly, it's so cool. It helps so many people. So we can put the pads and we can focus on areas that do need the support, or that we can focus on areas that are really inflamed or have the fat spots, right? So the areas that you can spot reduce, because you can't really do that with exercise, but you can do that with the machine. It's super cool. So I just thought it's worth mentioning. And with our practitioners, all of our practitioners are trained to use the treatments. So as of May, our clinic will be open 7 days a week. Right now it's open 5 days a week, but eventually it'll be open 7 days a week. So we're very excited.
Cool. And yeah, this isn't the only Saturday that you're having these events. You know, come on out and just be a part of the community, right? You know, show up and, you know, learn a couple things and maybe spend some time talking with me while Raul is working us over. Yeah, you know, kind of right. Yeah, you know. You know, it's a crazy world, and I know there's lots of confusion and there's lots of stress, and people are wondering about what the next step might be. It's my prediction, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that medicine like this is the next genre. It's the next, and not just in a fad way. You know, we've had our share of snake oil salesmen, which unfortunately turned out so often to be the guys with the pads and the white jackets on, right? You know, and I don't want to let you go without once again, you know, rewinding the tape here a little bit to a spot where you said you might even be able to help. And I know that this isn't unscientifically proven at this point in time. We might even be able to get into some trouble, but have you met me for even mentioning it? But if you're out there and you've got maybe some regrets about maybe something you've injected into your body, I want to share with you very clearly that off the record, there might actually be some help here. And, again, we can't, without getting ourselves into trouble, go into too much detail about it, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so that I'm excited about. Yeah, could you imagine being able to wake up tomorrow without that regret, right? And that's a big deal. But aside from any kind of a fear dynamic and those kind of dynamics here, I'm so, we're top of the hour. There's not enough time there. I wanted to talk to you about blood work. There's just, we're going to have you back. I really wanted to invite you on. This topic for this next month is about awakening. And as a part of the awakening process, I really do believe that Ariel and people of her ilk are going to be that bridge for us to be able to not only make friends with these technologies, but realize that they're actually on our side. Unfortunately, we're learning the hard way that medicine hasn't necessarily been on our side yet, And so you've got these practitioners and you've got these amazing tools that are showing up here. And that's the hope for the tomorrow. That's what we should be focusing on, is the fact we've got some amazing stuff coming together here, rather than kind of boo-hooing that the old system that maybe didn't work is going away. And so once again, I know we're going to post the website like crazy and the phone numbers and all that. Ariel, you're going to come back. I insist at some point. And I will see you guys every Friday by appointment only, and keep me so busy that I'm there every day, Ariel says. Totally.
I'm going to send you so much love. It's definitely happening. Thank you so much for having me. And I really enjoyed myself. I had fun. This was great.
Cool. To be continued. Awesome, guys. See you later.